What's up out there? We are going to embark on a journey, you and I. If you are interested in Path of Exile and you would like to know how this game plays and to have a more user-friendly experience, that is what I am hoping to bring to the table. So I did a review on Path of Exile, which I didn't think would get very much, and it has just grown legs and ran. So the support has been overwhelming, and I learned a lot while I played through the game. So I am here because I have a YouTube channel and I'm always looking for content, but also because I did learn a lot of things. And I think there's a lot that is not really mentioned out there anywhere. Like a lot of the stuff that I see is more towards people trying to speedrun the game and get to the end game and try to just blast through it. And I don't think there's maybe all the content is out there, but I don't think there's as much newer user-friendly stuff as should be necessarily. So that's what we're going to try to correct. Now, I would like to show that this is a lot more accessible game than you would think or necessarily be led to believe. I have 65 hours in the game roughly, and I'm on my second character. I have not followed any guides whatsoever, and I'm having an absolute blast, just playing along and learning things. Now, I get people saying, well, why aren't you in the end game and all that? Right now, what I'm focusing on is the early game because I'm trying to learn it myself. But since we're here with this video, that means I'm also going to start on a series. So I'm really trying to focus on the early game grind and getting through all of that. And if you're a person that wants to just sit down and enjoy the game and not have to worry about being pressured through a guide or anything like that, that's what we're going to be here for. We'll get to all that eventually. Now, this game is incredibly massive. There are 6 classes with a 7th that is available in Act 3. There are 1,325 passive nodes. There's 276 skill gems, 178 support skill gems, 600 plus nodes on the in-game atlas tree that lets you shape the in-game experience however you want. There are 10 acts in the campaign. There is deep lore, deep crafting system, and regular updates. Now, do you get anxious or excited when you hear all that? Like, are you turned off by it? Or does it say, man, that sounds really cool, but really deep, a lot to learn? Well, there's a lot there, but you can absolutely enjoy the game. If you've enjoyed any other ARPG, Grim Dawn, Last Epoch, Diablo, any of those, any ARPG out there, this is basically that. There's just a lot more to it. Grim Dawn is probably a little closer to what this is, maybe Last Epoch. I haven't really played a whole lot of Last Epoch. I did a lot of Grim Dawn, but there is a lot of stuff in here to learn, and hopefully we're going to break all this down. So this is basically for new players. Any veteran players will probably put comments of whatever I get wrong down below or have their own advice. So pay attention to comments down there for the important stuff. And this is basically for new players to get through the campaign, to identify the oddball things you're going to run across, because you're going to wind up finding some things you're like, what the hell was that? And you're not going to have any way of finding it. And some of it took me a little digging to find. And then I want to explain the choices that I've made so far and what I would have done differently, because I think there's some lessons to be learned there, or not necessarily lessons, but information to take in and think about when you're making decisions as you play through the game. So for example, one of the first videos we're going to do is choosing between League or Standard, the game mode you're going to play. And then we're going to talk about whether to brave the deep end of rolling your own character or following a build guide. And then going over, like I said, the odd things that you find, what they are and what they're supposed to do, and then how to make the passive skill tree easier and much more. So I've got a few videos we're going to get recorded. I'll try to get 2 or 3 of these out right off the bat, and then we'll start tearing this down and going into a lot more detail throughout. Now, keep in mind, I'm also learning this as I go as well. So some of the first videos are going to be really cursory, really top level, just looking at things from a high vantage point, trying to figure out what this is, what that is, get some advice here and there and stuff like that. And we'll dig in deeper as we go and get further on. So the videos are going to be focused on a specific decision, mechanic, or topic. I'm going to try to limit things to 10, 15 minutes. I tried one of these the other day with a few topics rolled into one, and it got to be about 30 minutes. And I was like, that's way too long. I would rather have these as shorter videos, even if they're only a few minutes long, just to get through what needs to be said and get on. So it doesn't, go on to a whole bunch of stuff. So I do have some advice to round this video out. And the first piece of advice that I have is myself, I prefer to make all the bad decisions first. So I like to just roll my own and see how it goes. Other people may want a build guide. First piece of advice, play how you want. If you want to follow a build guide, follow the build guide. If you want to do things on your own for a while, do things on your own. Do not let somebody else dictate how you have fun. Have your own fun. The community does seem very welcoming. Some people have some opinions here and there, which is fine, but make sure you're having fun. If you're not having fun with the game, don't worry about stressing on it. You don't have to be forced into playing it and having fun. The cool thing is the game's free. You can try it out as much or as little as you want. If you don't like it, it's not your thing, just move on. It's not that big, not that big a deal. There are other ARPGs out there that are more accessible or easier, if you want to call it that. So if this one doesn't do the thing for you, move on to something else. It's not a big deal, but hopefully you stick around and we learn all the things about the game. And over the next however long it takes to get through all this, which is probably going to be never ending with as much stuff comes out. And then we've got Path of Exile 2 coming out next year. So anyway, this is the start of the journey, and that will do it for this video. We will catch you on the next one. Take care.